Once again, we're back. It's Miss Ryan
and Miss Clark.
And this week, we're here to teach you about bar graphs.
Yes.
You remember bar graphs. We worked on them last week, but guess what? We're going to do it again this time.
It's going to be better than ever.
Better than ever before.
We have some examples.
Oh, guys, we have the coolest
And they're pretty
graphs. Can you see this? This is a bar graph. At the bottom, you'll see Miss Ryan chose types of flowers. So we're going to collect data on these types of flowers, and we're going to see what they look like when we put them into a bar graph.
Ooh, that's going to be so pretty.
I agree, Miss Clark, and so much fun. All right, guys, let's look and see what kind of flowers we got. It looks like we have got tulips.
Ooh, I like those.
We've got orchids.
Nice.
We've got peonies.
I've never known what those look. Oh, okay.
I don't either, but Bath & Body Works has some really good smelling stuff that is named that, so it must be pretty good. And daisies.
Ooh, those are my favorite.
And you know, some people really like a pretty rose.
Ooh, nice.
So I picked all of these pieces of data for us to decide where they go in the bar graph. So what you do is look at the bar graph. Going up the side, you'll see numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 10 on this one. And sometimes they're a little different than that. And going out, you have the different pictures of the flowers that we chose to use. So now we're going to put them into a graph, okay?
So those are our categories?
Yeah, these are our categories. Your categories go across the bottom.
Okay.
And then we fill up our graph to see how many of each flower we have, Miss Clark.
Okay, that makes more sense now.
Oh, okay. Let's look at the tulips, Miss Clark.
Okay.
I see a tulip here and I see tulips here. I wonder how many we have. Well, we're going to count them, but for however many we have, we're going to color in our bar graph, and then we're going to see a little something at the end.
And don't forget, this tulip does not count in your total number. You're just looking at what's down here. This is just the picture for your category. That does not, so don't count this one. Don't go 1, 2, 3. This one doesn't count.
That's
Okay.
right, Miss Clark. That was such a good point. I totally forgot about that. Yes, our categories don't count. So let's look at our tulips. I see 1. So I'm going to go up to my tulip and I'm going to color in the first square. And after I do, I'm going to mark out the tulip.
I always do that so I don't lose my spot.
That way you never have to worry about losing your spot. All right. Oh, I see another tulip.
So we got
So
2.
I'm going to go color that one in. Another tulip.
Wait a minute, Miss Ryan. You didn't mark out your
Oh,
second one.
I forgot to mark out. Oops. Now you know Miss Ryan's not perfect. Shh. Okay, let's look. Oh, there's another one. So we're going to go and color in next to the number 3 on our bar graph. And then mark out our tulip. And finally, we've got one more.
So 4 total.
So we have 4 tulips. Now they're all marked out, and we've put all 4 of them on our bar graph. Can you see that, boys and girls? All right, we're going to do the same thing with each set of flowers. For example, here's our daisy. How many do we have, boys and girls? Here's the first one. So I'm going to color in my first square and then mark out my daisy.
So 1.
Again, 2, and I'm going to mark out my second daisy,
And your third one.
and finally 3. All right, Miss Clark, you ready to take over?
I'm ready.
Your turn.
Okay, so now it's my turn, and I'm going to start with our peonies. And I've already colored in 1. Okay, and I'm going to mark it out. Now we have how many more? So 2. I'm going to color in another one. Okay, and I'm going to mark it out. And then I have 3 more. So then I'm going to color in, do it this way, it's easier. 3. Mark it out. 4. Mark it out. And 5. And mark it out.
Great job, boys and girls. What do you think? It's starting to look pretty cool, isn't it?
And so now we're gonna go move on to our orchids, okay? So we have 3 orchids. So we're gonna look for our column with our orchid, which is right here. And we're gonna say, okay, I have 1. I'm gonna color this in, mark it out. 2, I'm gonna come back around this way. Mark it out. And the last one, 3. And then we're gonna mark it out. Okay, so now we're on the last one, the rose, and there's 1. So I go ahead and mark it out, and then I just color it in because I know there's only 1. So now we have all our stuff colored in, and it looks like this.
Look at that bar graph, boys and girls. We collected data on 5, count them, 5 different kinds of flowers. Hey, Miss Clark, which one was your favorite?
I like daisies the most, but that's because it's always been my favorite flower. They're sunny and they're bright, and they are always very, very pretty. What are your favorite types of flower?
I love tulips. I think they're so pretty, and they remind me of a place called Holland. Oh, boy, you guys get your moms and dads to help you Google the word Holland, capital HOLLAND, and see what they're famous for. I bet you'll see something you see in our graphs.
And there's also a place in Texas called Texas tulips, and there's just fields and fields full of different kinds. Well, they're all tulips, but they're different colors. Okay, and so y'all can look that up too, and y'all can look at all the pretty tulips.
Miss Clark, that sounds so good. Sounds like we've got a lot that we can do when we're talking about graphs. I love bar graphs. Those have always been my favorite. And what's cool about it is you don't have to start with a certain flower or a certain bug or a certain shoe. Which shoe do you like best? Go around the living room. Ask everybody, what kind of shoes do you like best? If somebody likes Nike and somebody else likes Puma, make a bar graph and create it and see who likes what shoe.
And you can also tell which one's the most popular as well.
I know, Miss Clark. Let me ask you some questions about flowers.
Okay.
How many roses did Mr. Smith grow? How can we know?
And here's the cool part. Now you don't even have to go back and count. You just go to your rows. You go up the line, the number line, and you can say, oh, I colored up to 4. He grew 4 roses.
That's so cool, Miss Clark. And then what do we have next, guys? It looks like a daisy. How many do we have, everyone? 1, 2, and 3. 3 daisies, Miss Clark.
And then we have, what are these, orchids?
Is it orchids or peonies? It's the peonies, Miss Clark.
That's an orchid, Miss Ryan.
Oh, Miss Ryan is a little bit lost. Sorry about that, guys.
So now I'm like, okay, we have orchids and we shaded up to 3. So we have 3 orchids. And then we have the one lonely rose. Then we have 1 rose, and now we're at the peonies, and we shaded up to 5. So we have 5 peonies.
So, how many roses did Mr. Smith grow? We can go to our rows, check it out, and we found 1, like Miss Clark said. I wonder how many tulips Mr. Smith grew. If I didn't have these to look at, how could I tell?
You could just go up your number line and you could say, oh, we shaded up to 4, so we grew 4.
We grew 4 tulips, you guys. All right. Oh, I know, Miss Clark. Which 2 flowers did Mr. Smith grow the exact same number of?
Well, all you have to do is see which 2 are shaded at the same line. So he grew the same amount of daisies as he did orchids because they're both shaded at 3.
That's so cool. Couple more things. Which flower has the most, Miss Clark?
Well, the peonies, because he grew 5.
Oh, that's cool. And which is the least or the fewest, guys? Do you remember? We talked about it earlier. What was it? You're right. It's the rose. Good job, you guys. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining Miss Clark and Miss Ryan today for our bar graph lesson.